Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Faith in Fandom Feedback Friday podcast. Looking forward to going over a smidge of news with you today. Before we get into the landslide of spring as we head from March to April. And hey, Simpsons, um, as we head into April, heading to Holy Week, heading to all the things. Um, how are y'all enjoying Daredevil so far? Simpsons. But yeah, looking forward to just hanging out this morning. I stayed up late cleaning and I slept in because I can, and I'm really excited. Um, thanks. They like if you look really close, they look etched like Ninja Turtle face mask art, which is pretty neat, and I really like that. Um, but yeah, it's been it's a good time. But last week I was doing this from the hotel room before we ran out for GalaxyCon. This week, kind of I allowed myself a slow weekend. I'm doing photos tomorrow for a bougie gala. So if you want to pay $125 to eat some shrimp from my nice tower and raise money for a baseball team, holla at your boy. I'll let you know where to be. Um, the Simpsons Say Daredevil is really great. Also, yeah, I really like him. I'll send you an Etsy link or not an Etsy link, a Zenny link if you want. But we're here. Ooh, that was good. Mm. It's good coffee. We're here. Let's hit some news. One of the pieces that dropped earlier this week, and it might have been right before the broadcast last week, is that legendary actor, martial artist, and all of the things Chuck Norris passed away. And the internet was filled with memes and responses to Chuck Norris's death, as I would expect no less of. And I will tell you my favorite Chuck Norris death joke, which normally I feel like that would be out of place. Yeah, I'll send it through Facebook, dude. Um, Normally I feel like telling a joke about somebody's death would be inappropriate, but I feel like Chuck Norris, that would literally be the most appropriate thing to do. So here's my favorite Chuck Norris uh is dead joke. Chuck Norris got to heaven and told the angels, "Be not afraid." Um, but yeah, so Chuck Norris did pass away, and that dude lived a full life. And here's the thing: before most of the generation that's on internet, um, even knew Chuck Norris, he was considered one of the world's greatest martial artists. He was a legitimate action hero before he was a meme. And then I think honestly that what turned the tide in Chuck Norris becoming a living meme was the movie Dodgeball. Thank you, Chuck Norris. I feel like that moment solidified the way we all kind of had a feeling that Chuck Norris was a meme. And but he will be missed indefinitely. Another sad loss that happened this past week is that of Nicholas Brendan, who played Xander on Buffy. And what's kind of crazy is Nicholas Brendan accordingly died in his sleep of natural causes. And y'all, he ain't that old. And I know if you've been following Nicholas Brendan's life, he's had some rough points. Um, like I'm talking Dr. Phil episodes. I got to do Comic Cons with Nicholas Brendan in Myrtle Beach, and he was a delightful human. Um, and I'm sad to see his loss. And that was kind of like a 1-2 punch for the Buffy universe in a 1 week span was that uh, the reboot did not get picked up to become a show, and then Nicholas Brendan all died within about a week of each other. So that's a rough week for the Buffyverse. But Nicholas is missed, and there's a lot of people who have left really encouraging and statements about his loss. So yeah, Strawberry Patch Cards sent me a video. I'm multitasking Strawberry Patch Cards. Sorry. All right. Um, Other news. Yeah. Ch- Uh, In Robeson County, which is where I live, a triple murder took place recently, and the murder suspect was arrested by local authorities. Ethan Lee Spalding of my area was arrested on first degree murder of three counts, possession of a firearm by a felon, robbery with a dangerous weapon, discharge of a firearm in an enclosure, in an in to incite fear. Um, the Simpsons say they're enjoying Invincible, even though the last episode had the lowest rating. But I have not tuned in for this season of Invincible yet. I kind of like to. I rarely do the thing where you wait for the whole season, then watch it all at once, but I do that for that one. What's up, Chris Wright? Hey, dude. Good to see you, man. Um, yeah. One of my and here before I say all this, because I'm gonna sound like a fanboy, which is obviously correct. Um, Before I say this, I'm not for community violence. I am not for just beating people up, and I am not for aggression. But that being said, this week an altercation broke out in Tennessee, in the neighborhood of Reacher star Alan Richardson. And if you've listened to this podcast or, had a conversation with me, I'm a fan of Alan. Um, but Alan was riding motorcycles and little motorcycles with his children, in his neighborhood. And he had his two kids on bikes right behind him. And he was on his motorcycle when a neighbor stood in the middle of the street and got in Alan's way of driving his motorcycle, causing Alan to skid and damage his motorcycle and potentially hurt himself. The neighbor was angry that Alan was. I didn't see him going any more than the 5 feet that he stopped, but the neighbor was angry that Alan had been driving fast or recklessly through the neighborhood, and so he went full citizen's arrest and tried to stop Reacher from riding his motorcycle. Now, all of the video footage initially was showing Alan Richardson beating up his neighbor, um, which is the first footage I saw, and which tracks because uh, he mollywopped that gentleman. But what the video came out later showing from both of their body cams, which by the way, I get wearing a body cam if you are riding a motorcycle and you need accountability and stuff. But his neighbor also had a camera rolling, which meant his neighbor knew he was planning to do some shenanigans. But their video footage shows that the neighbor physically pushes Alan twice before the ensuing beatdown does beat down. If you're standing next to a man who's taller than Superman, he's bigger than Henry Cavill, and uh you just made him crash his motorcycle, I think you should stop. Like, I don't think that pushing him twice was the right life choice. Um, as a neighbor. Um, so yeah, not a great look, not a great life choice. And since then, police have officially cleared Alan Richardson on all charges in relation to this situation. So Alan has officially been cleared um, of the any wrongdoing in the area legally. There might be a civil suit, but again, if the police clear it, I doubt the civil thing's going to go. Um, After Sunday night's win against Texas Tech, Alabama's Latrell Wrightsell used the post-game spotlight to shine a light on the gospel. Uh, When the news outlets, TNT and such, got a hold of him after the game, he responded, "For us to be able to play on this stage is a blessing that we can give all glory to our Lord." Reitzel said, "I'm just happy to be here." Um, and he went on to tell them that they the culture that allows them to be a winning team is based on the fact that they all do Bible study together and they have a small group and they have a strong faith attached to their team. So it's awesome to see. Today, a new single by Switchfoot from their upcoming album Forever Now uh, is out. It is called Wake Up Mr. Crow. I have not listened to it yet, but Wake Up Mr. Crow is a brand new single that is out today. If you want to check that out, I will be doing so. We've got that and new Andy Mineo, so I'm gonna check out both. Uh, The Punisher, One Last Kill. What's up, Kyle? The Punisher, One Last Kill will be airing in May. It is a special that will apparently follow the space between Daredevil into Spider-Man as we're heading into things. But Punisher, One Last Kill will be heading, and it's a date in May. I'll read it later. Earlier this week in downtown Fayetteville, all of downtown Fayetteville was blocked off for a gas leak. So if you saw lots of trucks and EMS and emergency stuff in downtown Fayetteville, that would be why. A gas leak that was happening. In the realm of things I don't know that we need, but apparently we're getting, uh, we are officially getting a reboot. I love this. Getting a reboot of 30 or 13 going on 30. The heartwarming, delightful comedy with Jennifer Garner and Mark Ruffalo. The it's thriller. Like I loved 13 going on 30. That movie hit at a right time in my life. I don't think I was even 30 when 13 going on 30 came out. Um, but that was one of my family's favorite movies for a very long time. 13 Going on 30 will be getting a reboot via Netflix, starring Emily Bader and Logan Lerman, who neither of these people I know who they are, like at all. Logan Lerman looks like a slightly more masculine Timothy Chalamet, and Emily Bader looks like a young Paula Abdul, but I don't know them. I don't know them at all. Jennifer Garner, though, will be executive producing. So she is behind this. She has some ties to it. And by golly, if we don't get a cameo from her and Mark Ruffalo, um, I'm just not going to be happy about it. I'm sure my kids will watch it. But still, 13 going on 30 will be getting a reboot. Yeah. Um, in there. Um, Robeson County native and local talent, Rob Cole, got a pleasant surprise this week while performing. Rob Cole, who did two stints on The Voice over the last year or so, um, is was performing when he was presented with an invitation to perform at the Carolina Country Music Festival, which is a big festival that takes place in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and is usually the region's biggest country shindig. Um, and after he was presented with the invitation, uh, he says, "Man, that's been a dream of mine since day one. Almost 4 years of chasing this, grinding it out, hearing no, and just keeping my head up and working." And so he was grateful to be receiving of that invitation. Congratulations, Rob. Um, if you are a comic book collector and you grade your comic books, you should be aware that the comic book grading system CBCS will no longer accept new submissions after April 17th. Uh, they're not, they're behind. shutting down, and they're changing what they're doing to focus on the Beckett brand, which is their parent corporation. So they will be shutting down CBCS effective April 17th for new submissions. All existing orders and any submissions received by that date will continue through the normal grading process, but after that, it will be over. In news, when you just happy for people, um, my man Stephen Colbert is living the literal dream. Stephen Colbert has spent the last year in the news off and on because his late night show and like the late show period has been canceled. But this is just one of those situations where when like you lose something and then God just makes it even better. Stephen Colbert has lost the late show. His last episode will be May 21st, but my man got to announce on March 25th, which is the day the One Ring was destroyed in the fires of Mount Doom. My man got to announce on the first day of the Gondorian calendar that he and Lord of the Rings filmmaker Peter Jackson will be writing a new Lord of the Rings movie. And this new movie will be about the first six chapters in Lord of the Rings. So listen, you take the man's TV show away from him, but then you let the man write a Lord of the Rings movie. I'm just saying, what's up, Rushmore? I'm just saying he ain't losing. Like it is literally proven that there is no bigger Lord of the Rings nerd on this planet than Stephen Colbert. He's even beaten Peter Jackson in Lord of the Rings trivia. Um, and the man gets to write this. So congratulations, bro. Not that you'll ever hear that from me. Just know I'm rejoicing with those who rejoice, and I feel like that's a befitting turn for your chapter. Um, yeah. There is more data or more info I'll get to in it in just a minute, but a trial has since ruled. Uh, uh, Rushmore Show says, "Good seeing you at GalaxyCon. Looked amazing. GalaxyCon was amazing, but dude, I only see like a smidge of GalaxyCon. I see what I can see from behind my booth, and what Geek Church looks like. There's a whole world of festival I don't ever get to at that, but it was a great experience. God did good stuff. Um, with Google and Meta are going to be held liable for social media addiction in teenagers, and there'll be some more on that in a minute when I get to some different notes. If you are a fan of Star Wars and you don't want to buy, yeah, Geek Church and Geek Church turned out really, it was good in terms of like attendance and everything. It was the furthest away from the main show floor it's been while still being in the con. But man, it was a good experience, and I'm really grateful it turned out the way it did. Uh, but okay, uh, I'll pitch some. Rushmore Show said they need some help with increasing reach and getting more attendance at their church services at cons. I'll throw some ideas at you, of stuff that I do, and like, but honestly, dude, some of the biggest thing is just like early announcements and steady like consistency within the show for it to build up traction. It also really helps if the show promotes it and puts it in their schedule. Like GalaxyCon has a calendar of events in an app that you can search everything, and I don't know. I think that makes it easier. I don't know. But I will hit y'all up with some of that stuff. But Darth Maul, uh the series Black, White, and Red that was in Marvel Comics will now be have the full run of it on Webtoon. So which is the free comic book reading site. So if you're a Darth Maul fan, you've got options to read a whole Darth Maul series for no money. Congratulations. In times when you know you're getting old, Jamie Lee Curtis will star in a Murder She Wrote movie. Um, like the Angela Lansbury TV series, Jamie Lee Curtis will be starring in a Murder She Wrote film that will be coming um, to uh, theaters. Let's see. Hadestown will be coming to theaters on July 24th, 2026. So if you uh, are in if you're a fan of the Broadway musical Hadestown, they did a recording of the West End performance, and that will be going to theaters July 4th, 2026. One second. Do, do, do. All right. Rushmore says it's on their schedule for their main two, but the low attendance. Yeah, I got you. All right. So Hadestown theatrical release. Um, this week the UN met, and when the UN met, one of the things that took place was that they voted to recognize the enslavement of Africans through the transatlantic slave trade as the gravest crime against humanity in all of human history. And like that caused much debate. I mean, among people, we're just saying like there were worse things. Like people said that talking about the Holocaust and World War II and Nazis and things like that, that was a greater tragedy. While people wanted to debate which were worse, one of the stark things is that only three countries voted against this, which was United States, Israel, and I'm gonna it was either Argentina or Venezuela, I believe. But then they voted against it. Um, but they the entire chunk of Europe abstained from voting at all. Like they didn't want to even vote in the discussion. So there's lots of debates going on and commentary on this situation. Uh, Andy Mineo and the rapper Limo Blaze uh, has a new single today called Cole Palmer. So if you're an Andy Mineo fan, you might want to check out the track Cole Palmer, which dropped today. Um, and it was Argentina that voted against that being considered the greatest thing in human tragedy. In news with the Olympics, transgender women have been banned from competing against women at Olympics. The IOC says. So they are officially banning transgender women from competing in the women's category at the Olympics. One Piece will be returning to a regular release schedule beginning April 5th. Episode 1156, the beginning of the Elbaf arc, will start and it will air weekly all the way through June 21st with episode 1167 before it takes a break and probably returns in October. It has officially been confirmed, mentioned several weeks ago on the podcast that uh, in the Mario Brothers trailer, there was some pants on the left that looked like they could be Star Foxes. They were, in fact, Star Foxes. And Star Fox will officially be in the Mario Brothers Galaxy movie. Now, uh, I called Star Fox when I saw that, but here's what I'm saying: we're gonna see Samus. If nothing else, we're gonna see the ship. But Samus will make a cameo. Samus will be all up in this this Mario Brothers movie. Uh, Today only, if you go to GameStop and you spend $15 on Pokemon cards, you get an exclusive Gengar card. So if that matters to you and you're going to buy some Pokemon cards, you get an exclusive Gengar card. And even more incentive to buy nerdy things, McDonald's has revealed they will officially be doing K-pop Demon Hunter Happy Meals, but not for your kids. They will be doing K-pop Demon Hunter adult Happy Meals, and they will even be competing the Saja Boys versus Huntrix in terms of meals, boxes, and packaging. So if you are a K-pop Demon Hunter, McDonald's is coming for your adult money. Um, yeah, covered that. Uh, if you've ever been sad, Simpsons say thank you for that tip. Definitely going to GameStop now. You're welcome. Me too. Um, if you've ever felt sad after you finish a video game and you're missing it, uh, researchers and scientists have officially determined that there is a post-game depression um, that is real and clinically affects your brain. That if you get sad after you finish a video game and your story's over, like there's an actual level of depression that is being caused and created in your brain chemistry, and that you are not alone and you're not totally just a weirdo for that. So, uh, that's real, and I share it. Um, Nintendo has started the trend with the new video game Yoshi and the Mysterious Book that from now on, physical copies of Nintendo games will cost $10 more than digital copies of Nintendo games. This is in a move to get Nintendo. This is a move from Nintendo to get you to buy things digitally, and that if you are buying the physical copies just so you can resell them, like the GameStop, that it's going to cost you more. Um, so yeah. A while back on the podcast, I mentioned that the rhino from Ace Ventura When Nature Calls, the rhino that Jim Carrey was birthed out of, was going on sale, and the asking price was $8,000. It ended up selling for $59,850. So somebody paid a full new vehicle slash almost college education to get the Rhino that Jim Carrey squeezed out of. The Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer dropped, which was magnificent, and it became the first trailer in history to surpass 1 billion views. I just think that's crazy. Not No Way Home, not Into the Spider-Verse, not Avengers, nothing. It became the first trailer in history to surpass 1 billion views. Just bonkers. Punisher One Last Kill is coming out on May 12th on Disney Plus. That's my birthday. It's also the day that my friend's sketchy sermon, Paul's sketchbook Bible, comes out. So if you want to watch John Barenthal unalive a bunch of criminals while enjoying the spiritual comfort of your new sketch Bible, you can do that. Um, uh, the Simpsons say they think Ripley's Believe It or Not bought the rhino. That would not surprise me at all, actually. Robert Englund will be returning to the Stranger Things world as a character in the Stranger Things Tales from 85 animated series. There will also be Freddy Krueger cameos. Um, Simpsons say half of those brand new days were mine. Dude, I'm excited for it too. Here's why I don't rewatch trailers a lot. It's because like you don't need to sell me for most things. It's like I'm gonna be there. Like you don't got to convince me. Now some trailers will convince me if it's a different type of property, but most of the time you don't got to get me too hype. I'm there. A story has been resurfacing all over the intranets and news stations that a Kentucky mother and daughter turned down $26 million to buy their farmland. Um, because the sale would have led to a 2,000-acre data center being built. Uh, and they didn't want to bring that to their community in the region that they said that their area has fed this country for decades and whole generations, and they didn't want to have their farmland destroyed for a data center. And but other farmers in the area have not been as diligent and have taken the money, but they're holding out to try and prevent it. Six cruise ships are currently stuck in the Middle East um, because the cruise lines have canceled the sailings. And they're currently stuck in the Middle East. Getting stuck on a cruise ship doesn't sound like the worst case scenario. Getting stuck on a cruise ship in the Middle East right now sounds like a bad day. Back to the young lady who kind of kicked off the trial for the lawsuit against Meta and Google for internet addiction, for social media addiction. Um, Meta and Google have been ordered to pay $3 million dollars in damages. Um, the plaintiff was a 20-year-old Kaylee um, who sued them. Kaylee started using YouTube at the age of 6, downloading the app on her iPod Touch to watch videos about lip gloss and an online kids game. She joined Instagram at 9, and getting around a block her mother had put in place, or getting around a block her mother had put in place on the platform. Um, and that the jurors stated that the companies were negligent in the design and operation of the platforms, which left kids to being uh, detrimentally affected. Um, Nepal has elected a new prime minister who is a former Gen Z rapper turned politician. Balin Shah was sworn in as Nepal's prime minister in a landslide victory, and he was a former internet rapper, SoundCloud rapper for Nepal. Taylor Lautner and his wife, Taylor Lautner, are expecting their first child. Um, Congratulations to them. Hamilton fans, someone did throw away their shot. Sorry, Simpsons. Um, Christopher Jackson, who played George Washington on Hamilton and has done many other things, uh, messed up the lyrics to the Star Spangled Banner on the opening day of Major League Baseball season. And there's lots of jokes and references to the fact he started this country. He should know this song better than anyone else. Um, but it happens. Um, the Senate has voted to fund. Simpson said his Taylor's kid's going to name their kids Taylor as well, buddy. I hope so. I hope they're just all named Taylor. It'll be wonderful. Senate has voted to fund most of the Department of Homeland Security, but not ICE or Border Patrol. As they are moving forward, they have um, Senate has been holding back paying for DHS or funding DHS, and not rebellion, but in resistance to how things were going with ICE. But they will fund Department of Homeland Security, but not ICE or Border Protection. Um, Richard Pulley, a 78-year-old Tennessee man, was forced out of retirement to work 12-hour days door dashing. And after footage of him struggling to get up driveways to drop off food, it got posted on TikTok and it got posted online. And they wanted to get this man enough money to retire so he could stop. And they raised 30,000 people raised nearly $1 million for the Pulley family. And that's the internet being the internet. Great news for Marvel fans. Wonder Man got renewed for a second season, so we will get some more adventures with Simon and Trevor as we bounce around through the Marvel universe in what was the best written Marvel show since WandaVision. Uh, the Mike Flanagan uh, reboot slash revitalizing of the Stephen King property Carrie uh, will be hitting the release of October. So a modern retelling of Carrie from Mike Flanagan. I want to say it's 8 episodes will be dropping in October, which is of course the right time to do that. All right, so that is our news for the week. Let's go. We're going to do our roll for initiative Bible reading. Get my dice tower out. All right. So let's see what we're going to be reading today. Ooh, actually tied my dice bag. Oop. Did not do that properly. All right. So let's find. All right. Awesome. I didn't have to dump the whole bag. All right. We're going to do our rock, paper, scissors dice to choose what we're reading. We've got rock as the Old Testament, scissors as the New Testament, and paper as the Old Testament or the whole Bible. All right, here we go. Whole Bible, which means we need three D20s and a D10 to see what we're reading. I got one D20 here. I think I got a D10 right here. Yep, I got a D10, so I just need two more D20s. It's another D20 and this guy. All right. All right, three D20s and a D10. Let's see what we're reading in the whole Bible. 13. 5, that's 18. Plus 7 is 25. Oh, nat 20. Nat 20. Here we go. Uh, so it's 25 plus 20 equals 45. But because we rolled three dice, we rolled four dice, we have to take three away to be able to account to roll book one, um, which puts us at 42. So we'll be reading the 42nd book of the Bible, which should be um, you would be 40, Luke. We should be in Luke. Matthew would be 40, Mark would be 41, Luke. Yeah, we're in Luke. All right, so let's see how many chapters are in Luke. Move this dice tower out of the way. Luke has Luke has 24 chapters. So we're going to read the let's see. Hey y'all. I did not see any of your comments on Facebook before. Um, good morning, Tristan. Good morning, Darren. Tristan, I know you could do with less loss this week. Um, good morning, Jarrett. Good morning, Kelly. I don't know why, but none of the comments were showing up on Facebook earlier. So my bad. All right, so we need to roll 24. So we roll uh, D6 and a D20, and then we will take away one. All right. That's an 18 and 4 is 22. So we're going to be reading Luke chapter 21. Luke chapter 21. These guys away. Good morning, Kelly. All right. Woo. All right, Luke chapter 21. Scoot over here and grab a pencil. 21. The first time we have rolled Luke in almost 2 years plus of doing this. All right, so 327, Luke 21. The Mhm. All right, Luke 21. While Jesus was in the temple, he watched the rich people dropping their gifts in the collection box. Then a poor widow came by and dropped two small coins. I tell you the truth. I tell you the truth, Jesus said. This poor widow has given more than all the rest of them. They have given a tiny part of their surplus, but she, poor as she is, has given everything she has. Some of his disciples began talking about the majestic stonework in the temple at the memorial decorations on the wall, but Jesus said, the time is coming when all of these things will be completely demolished. Not one stone will be left on top of another. Teacher, they asked, when will this happen? What sign will show us that these things are about to take place? He replied, don't let anyone mislead you, for many will come in my name, claiming I am the Messiah, and saying, the time has come, but don't believe them. And when you hear of wars and insurrections, don't panic. Yes, these things must take place first, but the end won't follow immediately. It's kind of a fitting and encouraging verse. Then he added, nation will go to war against nation, the kingdom against kingdom. There will be great earthquakes, there will be famine and plagues in many lands, and there will be terrifying things and great miraculous signs from heaven. But before all this occurs, there will be a time of great persecution. You will be dragged into synagogues and prisons, and you will stand trial before kings and governors because you are my followers. But this will be your opportunity to tell about me. So don't worry in advance about how to answer these charges against you. For I give you the right words at such for verse 13 says, for I will give you the right words and such wisdom that none of your opponents will be able to reply or refute you. Even those closest to you, your parents, brothers, relatives, and friends will betray you. Tell them, Jesus. Tell them. Right there. Um, they will even kill some of you, but everyone will hate you because you are my followers. But not a hair on your head will perish. By standing firm, you will win your souls. And when you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, then you will know the time of destruction has arrived. Though then those in Judea must flee to the hills. Those in Jerusalem must get out. Those out in the country should not return to the city, for those will be days of God's vengeance. And the prophetic words of scriptures will be fulfilled. How terrible it will be for pregnant women and for nursing mothers in those days. For there will be disaster. Sorry. Not disaster, not great. For there will be disaster in the land and great anger against the people. They will be killed by the sword or sent away as captives to all nations of the world. And Jerusalem will be trampled down by the Gentiles until the period of the Gentiles comes to an end. There will be strange signs in the sun, moon, and stars, and here on earth nations will be in turmoil, perplexed by the roaring seas and strange tides. People will be terrified at what they see coming upon the earth, for their powers in the heavens will be shaken. Then everyone will see the Son of Man coming on a cloud with power and great glory. So, when all of these things begin to happen, stand and look up, for your salvation is near. I like that he's saying when all these things happen, it's time to panic. He's like, nah, then get ready. He says, then he gave them an illustration. Notice the fig tree or any other tree. When the leaves come out, you know without being told that summer is near. In the same way, when you see all these things take place, you can know that the kingdom of God is near. I'll tell you the truth. This generation will not pass from this from the scene until all these things have taken place. Heaven and earth will disappear. My words will never disappear. Watch out. Don't let your heart be dulled by carousing and drunkenness and by the worries of life. Don't let the day catch you unaware. Don't be caught lacking. Um, like a trap, for the day will come upon everyone living on the earth. Keep alert at all times and pray that you might be strong enough to escape the coming horrors and stand before the Son of Man. Every day Jesus went to the temple to teach, and each evening he returned to spend the night on the Mount of Olives. The crowds gathered in the temple and early in the morning to hear him. Uh, all right. So, main passage focus, um, Jesus in coming days slash end times eschatology. Who wrote it? Dr. Luke. Who was it written to? God's children. Why was it written? We need Jesus. Oh. When was the Gospel of Luke written? Luke was written between 58 and 65 AD. Symbolism present. There's stuff about trees and just the wars in general, the sky, governments, all of it were used as symbolism for, or just straight up grounds for teaching. Verses that stood out for me, um, verse 9, don't panic when you see this stuff. Verse 15, that he will give us the right words to speak. Verse 16, that our people will turn on us just because I'm petty. Good morning, Dot. Um, and then verses 33 and 34. What can we learn from this? Not to worry on future chaos. Stand firm in faith and don't be gullible. How can I apply this to my life? I think I just apply what I just said. Was anything hard to understand? Um, I don't know that anything was hard. Like some of the war descriptions, because growing up in the time and era that I have, you've grown up with like everybody looking to try and like label it. Oh, it's this war and that war and these people and that stuff, and that can be hard. Um, Pop culture parallels that reflect this passage. I don't know, the one verse, verse 19, by standing firm, you will win your souls. Um, I picture like every anime trope of the one hero who just keeps standing up, like usually Vegeta with his holding his left arm and all that jazz. Um, Hero standing despite great defeat. Currently watching Fire Force, and that's like one of those things that's, literally just saw that same trope yesterday. I think the most memeable verse in the passage is verse 16. Even those closest to you, your parents, your brothers, your relatives, uh, your friends, they will betray you. They will even try and kill some of you. I think you can put that a million different ways, between different characters. Um, that movie Ready or Not just came out last week, and there's that, and that's what I would do. I would do that with that. What song would be the best soundtrack? Just based on um the war focuses in the passage, I would go with Armies by KB. All right, that is our time, y'all. GalaxyCon just happened. If you want to hear the full review of GalaxyCon, I dropped an Artist Alley Aftermath for that. Um, Patreon supporters that are on the Flipper level, books are literally sitting in a box right there to go out. So those will be heading out soon. Before I go, I want to take a moment to thank our Patreon supporters, Zach T, Roshan, Ryan Felton, Jessica Luttrell, Jackie Kraft, Kelly Townsend, Alan Wallace, Fab Quack, Rivka and Tristan Birch, Dot Wilson, Michelle Stewart, Lynn Turner, um, David Brooks, Jeff Weimer, Colin Sproles, Jamie Montgomery, the Coleman family, Jonathan Herman, Ron Petit, Gear Saber Cosplay, Scott Ward, Alicia Glenn, Jay Sheed, Jason Crutchfield, Mike Perna, Zach Harris, Caleb Grimm, Jeanette Skaggs, Jason Bullock, Christina Ray, Sarah Lewis, Patrick Gale, Rebecca Godlove, and Adam Davis. Thank you all for supporting the way you do and for being as encouraging as you are. And dear friends, I pray that you may enjoy good health and that all may go well with you, even as your soul is getting along well. Thank y'all for taking time to listen. And since I'm not going to be at a con until June, potentially, I hope to see you all real soon. Bye, y'all.